rolling. I am very grateful for Digit's closing yesterday. I was a little bit nervous that we were going to lose Digit. I kind of mentioned last week in the sales meeting that he was on round 59 of the repairs, and that turned into, I think, about 70 something. And then actually yesterday, Bonnie texted me and said she just got a 70 item repair request. So that seems to be the trend right now. I'm not sure what's going on, but hang in there on those repair requests. If you need guidance, reach out to Digit. Hopefully he's recovered from all of the abuse he took on that one. What else? Genie XL, grateful for clients who lowered their listing price, 804 Dentons down to 685. That's awesome, 3,700 square feet. That's very, very cool. Leah Fry, girl, you've got so much good going on. 20 years of marriage and a big closing. We're going to talk about that in a second. So congratulations to you guys, Leah. What else? Let's go for one more here. Somebody unmute and tell me something awesome. Nobody? You got nothing?
I'm grateful Digit's wearing a shirt that I could quote a movie all day long.
Oh, that's some solid friendship right there. That's pretty cool. That's good stuff. All right, guys, let's get us rolling here. I think my camera is turned off, but you guys can see, you can see my screen, right? Give me some thumbs up. All right, good. All right, so we have some birthdays coming up, not to mention the important things going on in the world. Birthdays in the month of June. We have Melissa Loy and Peggy Leet tomorrow. Happy birthday eve to you ladies. On June 27th, Elizabeth Murphy is having a birthday. And as you all very well know, you are all very familiar that June 30th is my birthday. So that is next Tuesday, and I will not be here. Hopefully you ladies are taking off for your birthday as well and doing something fun. I know COVID makes it not so exciting to celebrate, but birthdays are good. Another year around the sun, so happy birthday to you ladies. Also upcoming today, we have virtual training on Carolina One IT app, which is really exciting. I'm sure Les might tap on that in a little bit when we hear from him. On June 29th, which is Monday, of course, we have Java with Johns. That's our virtual mindset, little kick in the butt that we need sometimes to get our head in the game. On June 30th, next Tuesday, from 1 to 4, we have another foundations class, a contract to closing, and that is actually in person at Salt Point, so that's exciting. We're starting to kind of pull some little groups together to do some training in person. And then also on Tuesday at virtually, we have the taking screenshots, quick session from 2 to 3, how to take a screenshot on any type of electronic device you've got. So sign up for those on Rose if you need help or are interested in any of those. Quick reminder on insurance, keeping a list of emergency contact information. I think I told you guys last week that I was going to send this out and I forgot, so I'm making a note right now because I know this is good information for you guys to have. It's also a really good reason to reach out to clients. Just shoot them a text message, remind them that it's hurricane season, make sure they've got their coverage adequately for the hurricane season, and then just shoot this message to them and say, hey, listen, I just wanted you to have these in case you need it. I, for one, love getting text messages like this because then I can just search for a keyword in my text message chain and I can find it really, really quickly. So keep that in mind. It would also be a really good postcard. I know insurance would be happy to co-brand it with you if you're interested in doing that. Weeks in Irvin, I talked to Kessinger yesterday and Brandy came by and dropped off some bread. So if you're interested in getting in the office or you want a little sweet treat, we're still getting lawyer bread. So that's good. Now it feels like the world is complete again, right? Weeks in Irvin is still doing closings, of course. Joe wanted me to let you guys know if you've got a closing scheduled for the 25th of the month, or this is just an example, but let's say you've got one scheduled for the 25th, they need the contract before the 10th. I'm sorry, before the 15th. 10 days is not enough. It's enough for Weeks in Irvin to do their part, but it's not enough for the courts to keep up and do their part because the courts are still really behind and a little bit slow on their processing. So if you've got a closing, send it to them early so that they can get the ball rolling and the court being delayed doesn't delay your closing. All right, so reach out to them if you need anything. And don't forget, they've got Brandy also over there in Mount Pleasant now. All right, this is always exciting. We love doing this. This is our Guess Who of the Week. We sometimes do it every week and we've taken a few weeks off. So I'm excited for this one. Last week, I think or 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure I stumped you guys. And I think I'm going to stump you guys again on this one. So we'll see if you guys can remember or figure it out. Excuse me. All right. This person traveled 26 countries, has lived in 43 states, traveled 26 countries and 43 states, and lived in 8 cities and 3 different countries. This person receives residuals from TV and motion picture work for work on Parks and Rec, The Office, Coneheads, NCIS, The Simpsons, Zootopia, and more. This person went scuba diving all over the world in one particular spot down to 130 feet with sharks. I would never do that. This person almost ran into a bull moose hiking in the Tetons. That's very interesting. And this person got caught in a riptide off the coast of Margarita Island in Venezuela, but was able to swim safely to shore and survive. Of course, somebody guesses Whitley. Whitley is the famous guess. One day you're going to be right. So throw your guesses up in the chat box. We've got Whitley up there, Justin, Stephen Hudako, a couple of good guesses there. We'll see who it is at the end. And I have 3 open house signs for the winner. If you guys won in the past and you have not seen these things credited to your AR yet, you have to purchase it first in order for me to credit it. So make sure you do that and then reach out to me so I can apply it to you. All right, we'll come back to that at the end. Let's look at our production. We're having an awesome birthday month for me. Thank you very much. June listing sales and closing activity. We've got 25 listings so far. Check this out, guys. For $23.2 million at an average list price of $931. That is because we have one huge fat listing that we're going to help the Nugents sell. It's a land deal. It has 2 houses on it. And I believe the Nugents, if you're on the call, John, what did you guys relist at? Unmute yourself if you're there. I see you. All right, might not be able to unmute, but I'm pretty sure we relisted that at 8.9 or 8 point something million. So find us a buyer. Let's make John and Elaine's Nugent year transformative, and as well as somebody else's. We've got 86 sales for 34.6 million, average price of 403. That's a little more on par with what we're typically at. And 46 closings for 22 million, average price of 489. So let's take a look at our performers for the month of June. We've got Katrina Johnson with 5, Carolyn Parsons with 2, Chip Idlet, Elizabeth Murphy 2, the Elite Rand team kicking butt with 6, Laura Goldsby 3, Doug Getford 3, Alex Torregas 7, you go girl, Poppy team 3, Rini Kramer team with 17, no wonder why you girls are dying and so busy, Carrie Walker with 6, awesome job, the Fessler team 5, well done, Lauren Zarilla 4, also moving, packing up her own house. That's also chaotic. Well done there, Lauren. Whitley Boyd with 4, Tina Campbell Byers with 3, John Graham, Ashley Marsh, Shelby Halal with 2, Nancy Carol Crick with 3, Lance Morrison, Pam Bishop with 4, nice work. The Northrop team 3, the Ritter group with 6, Elsie Spencer, Wells Grimble, Thorne Cathcart with 5, Simply Southern group, Tina Hartford with 9, Mary Maloney 2, Stephen Hudako 3, Tyler Davidson 2, Mary Guest, Kelly Neely 3, Casey Benton 3, Homes of the Low Country, Perella Group with 4, Chrissy Strickland and Wise, DuBose Cuthbert, Bonnie Cook 3, Digit Matheny 4, Davison Rivers Group 2, the Smith Team 2, Peggy Leet, Dominique House 2, Jeannie Axel 3, Catherine Remington 3, Elaine and John Nugent, Casey Benton again with 4, Savannah Bailey, Tommy Lovett, Melissa Loy, happy birthday to you, girl, Madison Reed, and Leah Fry. Awesome stuff. Well done, guys. Kudos all around. Way to go. We are kicking butt this month. I'm proud to see it. I think we're going to have a really strong closing month in June. And I think we're also going to have a pretty strong closing month in the month of July. So well done. There is one special highlight I want to make. Many of you have heard that Leah Fry had her biggest sale ever. And she just closed on it last week. And Leah, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself here in a second if you're still on. But I wanted to highlight Leah and congratulate her. Never giving up is really the epitome of how this deal happened. As you know, Leah's been in the business for a little while, I think on her 5th year. And she was with another company before she came to us. And she's just hung in there. She's stayed consistent. And she's going to tell you real quick, if you're on the call, Leah, how you got these clients to actually move and what conversation actually triggered them to move.
Hi, thank you. I appreciate you highlighting me, I would say.
It's awesome.
So actually, this is a friend of mine who she's in my circle of friends. We're on the tennis team together. We captained the tennis team together. And, you know, there's always a talk with friends of real estate every now and then, but it's just one of those things. One day she called me up and she came back from a ride on the boat and she's like, hey, can we see this house? And they hadn't really even been in the market. I mean, they have a beautiful home and they weren't really thinking about, she looked at investment properties the year before, but it was just one of those things. Could we see this house? And it was a Saturday night at like 7:00. And luckily I have nothing going on. So we just, I said, sure, it's a go and show. Let's go over and take a look. So we saw it Saturday night and then we saw it again on Sunday morning and they put an offer in that afternoon. And so this is a family that, they have a home still to sell. It's a big purchase, as you guys know. And I think it was just one of those things, like the week before we were talking about real estate, 4 of us were out to dinner and it just kind of came up. And I don't know, I think it's just being available that she knew I was in the industry, but I felt like I never really had to throw it down her face, I didn't always have to bring a present. She trusted me. She knew how I was as a friend. And it was just one of those things that I was lucky that she believed in me and was confident in me. So I think it was just being there.
That's awesome, Leah. It's really a true testament to you just being a good advisor and a good consultant on many levels, but then also, like you said, just being a friend to her. What you had told me was that the part that I found most interesting was Friday night or Thursday night of that week you were with them. Yeah. And you were talking to them about the reverse offer concept.
Yes. We were talking about, that's when the 4 of us, we were out to like happy hour and we talked about like a reverse offer and they're like, what's a reverse offer? I've never heard of that. And it was just so funny. They're like, wow, you mean, I never, and there was 3 other girls there one of them just got a real estate license. And she was like, I don't even know what that is. I never would have even thought that. And it was just so funny. I was like, yeah, guys, I mean, there's so much information out there that you just don't know about. And we just it was the day we talked about it in our Thursday morning meeting. So that was actually really cool. So I think that was good, having that information forefront, being able to talk about things that they really weren't aware of. And it just shows that she had confidence in of my knowledge of the industry. So
that's awesome, Leah. What was the list price and the final sales price?
List price was 4.4 and it sold for 4.2.
Awesome stuff, girl. Congratulations. Way to hang in there and never give up. That's a good story, especially for all of our rookies or anyone who's struggling right now. Keep focused, be a friend, be a consultant. Don't quit. You never know what's going to happen.
That's right. Thank you.
Great stuff, Leah. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
Awesome work. All right. So we know opportunity is out there. If you're waiting for a sign that it's time to get out there and get outside your comfort zone and start connecting with people, this is the time to do it. So let me know how I can help you. I'm here for that. That's what I do every day, all day. And it's what I love to do. It's why I stopped selling so I could help you guys. So keep me in mind when you're struggling. I'm here for you. All right. So if you were in Mastery last week, yesterday, John Brewer talked about the power of curiosity. This is one of many things, but this is the thing that kind of hit me real quick. And I just wanted to share and kind of run back through. He's talking about, in order to obtain business opportunities right now in our market, we've got to create curiosity. Curiosity is where it all begins. And that's also a testament to what Leah did, building credibility and creating curiosity. Ask yourself, what can you do literally today to create curiosity with people in the market, in your sphere of influence? And I want you to throw some ideas in the chat box or unmute yourself. In Mastery yesterday, they shared a bunch of great ideas, but what can you do today, either through social media, through real estate reviews? Those are some ideas. Give me some ideas of what you could do today to create curiosity about real estate. Whenever you're all ready, don't overwhelm me. Market analysis, good one. Thank you, Andrew. What else?
Make a telephone call. Just reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time.
Yes, easy, easy, easy. Easy to do and easy not to do. Great idea. Call somebody. Social media post of what's my home worth. Genius idea. Check out these 2 examples. Jen Huffman on the right, she's posting that buy side link all the time. Great idea, great way to trigger what is your house worth. Another one, Dominique, for for market analysis, like what Andrew said, Dominique's been posting Dave Sansom's market stats, also creating curiosity. What else? 2 real estate reviews a week. Awesome. Give me another idea or two. One or two more. How about just in terms of your market review, how does Corona affect real estate? We hear how Corona has been affecting retail and outdoor dining and indoor dining and what restaurants have had to shut down and unemployment and all of that, but how does it impact housing? How about just go Facebook Live real quick and say, many of you are probably wondering how coronavirus has impacted housing. Well, here's how it's impacting housing. Nobody's putting their houses on the market. We need inventory. Let's do a real estate review. Something along those lines. Just getting out there and doing something to create curiosity. Yes, a Facebook business page. Great idea. How about telling a success story? People don't care what you do, they care why you do it, right? So how about telling a story instead of just posting, just sold this house? Okay, great. How about these people, I don't know, tell the story of how they moved or why they moved, obviously protecting their privacy. Digit can't particularly do that on his situation, but if you've got a great story, like somebody just had a baby, their apartment was getting too tight, they just closed on this house, now they have 3 bedrooms, everyone has their own space, blah, 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 all so happy, and a picture of them. Instead of just posting, hey, look, I just sold this house. Create curiosity. Try to maybe create a little spot of tension that they don't know exists, which will also help create curiosity. Somebody unmute and tell me what symbol this is.
Zillow.
Yeah, this is Zillow. Most of you probably don't have the biggest, happiest spot in your heart for this business, correct? True or false? Probably true, right? Well, let me remind you of this. Zillow exists because people want information on their house, and us as realtors covet the information. We don't give it to them. We're like, we're the beholders of the real estate information. We're not giving you any of it unless you want to list or sell or buy with me. And so Zillow was like, okay, people want to know about their house. We'll just take everything that we can find that's public information after the deal is closed. We'll put it online. We'll give it to people for free. And boom, now we have a ridiculously successful business. So you're welcome, Zillow. We realtors made you successful. And now we realtors hate Zillow. So what does this have to do with real estate reviews? You guys could be doing real estate reviews and overcoming this challenge. We know people want information on their house. How many of you know that your sphere of influence is looking at Zillow every single day, right? So let's do something about that and give them the real information, the good information, and then consult and advise. There are so many things that Zillow can't do that you guys do, and you do well. So be better than that and start creating curiosity by giving them info. Thoughts? Questions? Good? All right. A couple of memos. Quick reminder on COVID, if you're doing open houses, please, 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 please come pick up one of the responsible open house riders. It's really important. Even if it doesn't mean something to you, it means something to somebody else. You might not be getting people walking through that door because they think that it's an unsafe environment for them to be. So grab one of the riders. We have about 15 of them sitting on the back desk behind Anna and Tony. And they're good for you to put on your sign and help increase population through your open house. Obviously, keep it safe and be smart. Also, be reminded, we don't have this issue this week, which is good. But if somebody testing positive for COVID, we're going to shut the office down and we're going to fog it. That's already been completed. And also, excuse me, if you are waiting for a COVID test, please quarantine yourself, isolate yourself. Don't come to the office. Don't show property. Don't be face-to-face with clients. Yada, yada, yada. You guys know the story. So if you have questions about what you should or shouldn't do, reach out to me. But I think we're getting much more cautious and smarter about how we handle this. And we've got to. We don't have a choice. We've got to figure out a way to live with it. So let me know if you have questions or struggles with that. We talked about that last week. Let's move on to Les and get some IT updates. What you got for us, Les?
I got a few things to talk about, Maggie. If you will click for me, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. So IT on site. We were up until probably yesterday looking at resuming IT on site in July. So this slide has changed overnight. We're probably going to delay it a bit more. We do have IT appointments though. So if you do need to meet with us or want to meet with us, we can meet with you at Salt Point or even at Long Point, depending upon what the need is. But we won't be resuming IT on site probably till early August at this point. So just giving you a heads up on that. Next slide for me. Appointments. So if you need to schedule an appointment, whether that's connecting with us at home or at the office, we can schedule appointments, or you can schedule them online as well. And you can use the IT help either inside of Rose, or I think the next slide shows it. Yes, one of these methods. So one of the things that we're teaching today is the Carolina One IT app. It's more of a website, but it's mobile friendly, so we call it an app. CarolinaOneIT.com has all the options for IT help requests. If you just want to schedule an appointment, you need to get a copier set up, whatever it might be, we can do it through that website. If you want to call us, the 843-202-2040 number, best number to reach us at. And if you just want to send an email, text support@carolinaone.com, comes right into the help desk where everybody sees it, and we can get back to you quickly. And then finally on Rose, you can also ask for IT help from there. Next slide for me.
Les, I'll just piggyback on that for a second.
Yep.
A lot of times when an agent comes to us, Anna, Tony, or I, and they have an IT related issue, it's usually fastest and most effective for us or the agent to go on Rose and put in a request that way, because then the agent can continue working on other things, and then you guys can call within a half an hour. So just guys, keep that in mind. If you have an IT issue, I think it's fastest and easiest to go on Rose, type in your issue, and then you send it into them, and a prompt comes up and it says somebody from IT will be in touch with you within 30 minutes. So you can carry on and go print your docs or do whatever you need to do and wait for them to call you, so you're not sitting there waiting for the issue to be resolved. So just a thought.
And I'd agree with you. The only exception I would take to that is the most common problem we have is people can't log into Rose. So if you can't log in, use one of these other options. They'll work just as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Next slide. GSuite updates. So yeah, the renewal came around and it went up this year. Surprise. So Google hit us with 3 different price increases over the last 3 years. And finally we said, look, that's enough. We want to fix this so that we're not doing this every year. So Google agreed to fix the price, at least for the next 3 years. The price did go up this year. This was billed back in May, but we got several additions from a security standpoint. And I know that's not glamorous stuff, but it helps us, and it helps each of you, particularly with email threats, which, given the current environment, email threats are where we're seeing most of the issues. So Google, although the price went up, they did give us more security, and at the same time, we do have a price fix, so the price shouldn't go up again, at least for 3 years. Next slide for me, please. Thank you. Google Hangouts Meet, which we're using here, is a product that all of you have access to. You can have up to 250 people in one Hangouts Meet. I haven't seen that many people in one of these, but you can certainly give it a go. I would suggest that it's a tool that you can use on the fly with all of your clients or even with your friends. It's not hard to use, except when you try to turn off closed captioning and you have no idea why that's happening.
Unless you're me and you still can't figure it out even when there says turn off closed captioning, and it still won't work.
And just for you, Maggie, I put in a help desk ticket already for you. So,
oh, thanks. You're the best.
Because I couldn't figure it out either. So
that makes me feel so much better.
I actually turned it off on my end, but it's still running. So scams. This is something we're seeing a good bit of. It's happening not only in our industry, but it's happening in a lot of different industries because a lot of businesses are not used to people working from home or working remotely. And the early on scenarios were very familiar. People would call you from Microsoft. Microsoft will never call you. And if they do call you, it's from a number out of Ireland, just heads up. Pop-ups from websites, we're seeing a good number of these as well. So if you're on a website and you see a little pop-up that says your browser is not secure or your system is compromised, please call this number. Don't call that number. Call IT if you feel like you need to. But more than likely, if you close the browser and reopen it, that pop-up will be gone. We have seen where sometimes they take over the screen. And in those scenarios, you may just need to shut down the computer, and whatever it was you saw on the screen should be gone. And if you want to touch base with us, just from a malware standpoint or antivirus, let us know. That's something we can give you help with as well. Phone threats. So this was a new one for me. I got a phone call, I guess it's been about a month now. And I didn't accept the message like most of us, we kind of let those unknown callers go to voicemail. They called multiple times in the same day, early in the morning and late in the afternoon. And the caller wanted to let me know if I didn't call back that they were going to arrest me, take me to prison, and whatever else that they do there. And I was kind of like, well, this is odd. I sent it over to Megan just to say, hey, Megan, should I follow up with this? Is this really important? And she said, no, not at all. So fortunately, I'm here today. We're not doing it from virtual prison or anything. So just giving you a heads up, there's some really weird messages and campaigns going around right now. Don't think every message that gets to you is a real message, as if you didn't know that already. Next slide.
That's interesting, Les. Maybe you should have made your virtual office background virtual prison.
Yeah, I thought about that actually.
That would help us get the message.
Another one, just to remind your clients about wire fraud. This one has come out a couple of times in the last month. If you're following the normal procedures and letting the clients know up front that you're not email wiring instructions, know that should take care of most of the issues that we run into. Usually what happens is we're on one side of a transaction and an agent from another company is on the other side, and they have not let their clients know, and their clients begin to proceed with sending funds out to an unknown party who just happens to be watching the client's email. So it's important just to communicate up front with your clients and make sure they, of course, sign the wire fraud instructions and gives them information as to what's supposed to happen. Chromebooks. So if you're looking for a computer, there's a couple of things to be aware of. If you are, before I talk about the Chromebook, Apple has put out its annual education special. So if you've got somebody that needs a computer and they want a Mac for school, you might be able to qualify yourself in that category if you feel like it. There's a special that Apple has started. One, they have discounted prices on Macs, and they are offering free Apple AirPods to go with any purchase. So it's that time of the year where back to school is taking place. Some of the specials we're seeing, Chromebooks. These are nice tools if you want to spend a very small amount of money. $200 to $300 is kind of the sweet spot for Chromebooks. They're virus free. They can do most real estate tasks. And if you just need a computer to be something that you use remotely, you want to carry it around with you, Chromebook's a nice size. It fits into the form factor of everything we're doing real estate wise. And we all often have one available that you can borrow from us if you need to. New content on C1 Rose. So we've added a lot of new things on Rose, and we're trying to keep up with a lot of training, new events. And in this particular slide, I did not update today's class because today's class is about the Carolina One app, IT app. But every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 o'clock, we are doing Tech Talks at 2. So if you can make it, great. If you can't, we're recording those classes, and you'll find all those recordings under the technology training area. Next slide for me. Yep, there we go. Technology training area and the recordings. All of the all-core emails are coming in and being recorded in C1 Rose. So if you've missed one of the all-core emails or something that you're looking for, you thought you saw, we've put together all of those emails in one place. So they should be in your email, but if you can't find it, you can come into Rose now and find all of those all-core emails. And Thorne had a question about Apple discounts. We have a discount at the Apple Store, which is closed. Yes.
Does that mean you can't get it online?
No.
Okay. And Digit also had one, and Pam had one. So Digit wanted to know when you were talking about Chromebooks and that they do most real estate tasks, what does that actually mean?
So let's say that you're the person that was doing videos or recordings for The Office or Parks and Rec or one of those things. You would not be doing that with a Chromebook. you'd be doing that with a Mac or some sort of high-end editing software / computer. But if what you're doing is simply just posting things in MLS, updating your website, checking email, storing things or finding files, Chromebooks are perfect. That's what they're designed for.
Digit might be asking because he has 2 huge cracks on his computer screen right now.
They're usually crack-free.
Pam also asked, this came up a couple times, and I'll let you answer this. When they log into Zip Forms right now, it's asking for a renewal.
That, I think, is now gone. I will double check today. We processed the renewal with what is now going to be called Lone Wolf. That name change takes place maybe next week. I know it's soon. Lone Wolf bought or acquired Zip Forms. The whole name is going to change. We have processed the renewal. There's nothing for you to have to do. The only exception would be is if you've ever bought a product from Zip Forms, because they have a couple of add-on products, but it's rare when someone presents us with that. So the renewal page should be gone, and it will be gone if not already. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Keep your questions in the chat box, guys, if you have anything else. Les, I think you've got a couple more slides here. Yeah.
Yep. So new market stats. I think you've already covered this one, but I just wanted to go real quick. What we've done on C1 Rows is we have added 2 different stats areas, one for anything from 2020 forward and the other for anything before 2020. So the old format before 2020 and in the 2020 year forward, we have now added a couple of different changes. We have quarterly updates, we have monthly updates, and there's been a few more monthly updates added like in the last week or so. So next slide for me. When you come into the market stats, 3 file formats to be aware of: JPEG, PDF, and social. JPEG is your high resolution. If you need to take an image and put it on a printed poster, you need to put it on a printed material of some sort, JPEG is the best. If you're going to use the market stat as just like a printout item, PDF is best. And if you're going to share it, you're going to email it to someone or text it, the social format. And social is only a smaller sized image of the JPEG. JPEG is best for anything you're going to print. Social is good for anything you're just going to send out, like a text or an email. Next slide for me. Thank you. So when you go into the All Core, you'll see now, right in the middle there where it says All Core Files, Market Stats 2020, we've now broken down what happens after 2020. Our first set of stats was for Q1. In about a week, well, maybe 2 weeks, we're going to have Q2 added to this. So you'll now see 2020 Q2, 2020 Q1, and then you'll see each month separately. Next slide for me, Maggie. The JPEG files, those are going to be larger file sizes. Click once for me. And you can tell that they're larger files because they'll say like 2 megabytes, 4 megabytes, that sort of thing. So these are going to be larger files. Next slide for me. The social files are going to be smaller. Click once. And you'll see these are like 1/10 of the size of the JPEG files. So they're just small files. Don't put these in your printed materials. They'll be pixelated and kind of fuzzy, but definitely use them in social media or use them like if you're sharing with someone and you just want to send them a text. These are perfect.
These look really nice too, guys. Kristen Davis used them, and I know Kimberly Ritter has used them recently, and they look really, really nice.
I think that's it. There may be a chat question though that I missed. Let me see.
Andrea Rose Rousseau asked if something is compatible with iPad and iPhone. I think she's probably talking about Chromebooks.
So compatibility is not really something we talk about with the Chromebook because it's its own, think of it almost like its own architecture. Will it work with Apple data? So for instance, if I'm checking my email on my iPhone or checking my photos on my iPhone, yes, there are things we can help you set up so that phones, email, contacts, those kind of things are interchangeable, but they're not, it's not the same thing as, using a Mac.
And then Tina asked if you could update on the zip form integration with SkySlope.
So the integration currently, what you have to do is go into Zip Forms, do everything there, and then either send it into SkySlope or export it from Zip Forms and then put it into SkySlope. What the next turn in the cycle will be is SkySlope is developing its own forms. So Zip Forms itself, well, it's going to be called Lone Wolf shortly, but that's probably going to change. With the current way that the economy and everything is, I don't know the time frame. We had originally hoped that we would already be on what are called Sky Forms, but that's probably not something that's going to happen until end of the year. But that's coming. That change is definitely coming.
All right, and then the last one is Leah asking why MLS doesn't work on Safari anymore.
I don't know, because I used Safari with MLS this morning. So probably best if you'd reach out to us, Leah, because it should work. There must be some kind of configuration or something we need to look at.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that's it. Anybody have anything else for Les before he goes? Les, where are you and Tammy going for the weekend?
We are going to a COVID-friendly state, one that doesn't quarantine you when you go there. Headed to Georgia. We're going to Lake Lanier, and it really all we're going to do is celebrate our anniversary by going fishing and kayaking.
That's awesome. Happy anniversary. How many years?
27 years.
Oh my goodness. That is awesome. Quite an accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate you, Les.
Thank you.
Enjoy the weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, moving forward, our activity contest. We've got some winners for this week. I think we are, what are we? So July 6th is the end. So we've got 2 weeks left. Is that right? Yeah, about a week and a half. So keep rocking and rolling on that. We still are hovering around 20% participation, which is pretty good. I've got some marketing gift cards for you guys this morning. And this morning's winners for the marketing gift card are Dominique House, Laura Poppy, and Abby Newton. I just picked 3 people who have been consistently performing at a rate that I can see their activities are starting to impact their business. I've looked at the past 4 or 5 weeks and just kind of checked out what you guys are doing. And you ladies are all crushing it, showing up every week, every day, doing your activities. I know a lot of these activities push you guys out of your comfort zone. And I know it's easy for you to just decide not to do it. But these girls are consistent, showing up each time. So I got a little marketing credit for you girls at the store. Get yourself some marketing swag. And I also have 2 here, one for Molly Phillips and one for Anna Dalton for you girls being new to the team. I think you need a little Carolina One swag to show everybody who you represent. So don't forget to come see me and grab those, and other ladies, I will put them in your mailbox or on your desk. So way to go, girls. Keep it up. Keep the activity rolling. It is going to work. Don't give up. Think of Leah when you're ready to quit. Call her up. She'll talk you out of it. All right, Sherilyn, tell us what we got going on with Jumbo Mortgages.
Okay, everybody. Good morning. So glad to be with you from Allendale. I'm thrilled to let you know, especially because of our awesome market east of the Cooper, Daniel Island, downtown, that we've got some jumbo money back. It's not back to where it was early in the year and last year, but I'm thrilled to be able to offer a 3.5% 30-year fixed. Now, the caveat with that is you got to have good credit. 780 is the minimum credit score for that rate. But if you have a 720, you can still get a 4% with only 20% down. And the rates are almost the same on second home. I've been talking to a lot of people. You all know who they are. We have a lot of folks coming down from the Northeast buying second homes. They come down, have a week of vacation and say, oh, I need to be here more often. I know several of you are working. So we've got some very, very good jumbo money on the second home as well. And if, so often with these purchasers, they're going to put even more than 20% down. So the rates get better the more they put down. So for example, on a 780 credit score, we're at 3.375. And again, no points. So what does that mean? No points, no fees. So if you buy an $800,000 house and borrow $600,000, you're not getting hit with the $6,000 discount point or origination fee at closing. And that really ramps up the closing costs. And most of your savvy buyers, they don't want to pay it. And we don't do it on any of our loans, but it definitely saves a lot of money when you're talking with somebody in this price point. So let Andrew and I know what we can do for you. The nice thing about these loans is we're doing them in-house. I've got a closing with somebody at a different Carolina One office, and the buyer of that person's house has been in underwriting literally, y'all, for 10 business days, and it's messing up my poor purchaser's opportunity to purchase this little house in Snee Farm for she and her daughter. So it's really got me mad, but I can't do anything about it because they didn't come to us. So remember, if we do the loans, we're always in control. Andrew and I and Kim Sheltman have your backs on those loans. So anyways, but I'm just thrilled that we have this money. So, and you guys, Andrew and I are so very appreciative. I did indicate this last week, but I want to call out all the people who have sent us refinance referrals. We appreciate every single person. We work them hard. We make sure it makes sense for them to do a refinance. So even after closing, you're still working with your sphere, and you know that goes a long way with them. Maggie, go ahead and okay. So Katha, we've got one closing today. The guy's going to save over $400 a month. We closed one last week. It was a VA jumbo. He's saving $619 a month. He is thrilled. Pam Bishop did her daughter and son-in-law. Laura Goolsby, we've had a couple with her. Melissa, have a couple. Chip, I just helped refinance a gal who's had her little house over on Shem Creek for over 20 years, and she needed to renovate it, and she was thrilled. She took money out and still had a lower monthly payment. Duval, we've done a couple for her. Dominique, we closed hers yesterday, saving $420 a month. So, and all the closing costs, y'all, are rolled in. Ashley, we did their personal refinance. Jeff did his. Doug Getford, I haven't even told you if you're online. We refinanced the Bowers, saving them over $300 a month. Jeannie, thank you so much. We got one coming up. The Renee Kramer team. Tina Hartford, we saved the Van Olst $425 a month. Y'all, this is serious bank. So if you've got anybody, or if you're just reaching out and you need a little something to talk to people about, you might go back and look at their closing disclosure. And if they're paying over 4%, say, hey, got a great team in my office if you just want to look into what the cost of refinancing is. We can roll all the closing costs back in, and half of these refinances did not even require an appraisal. So we appreciate
awesome.
It's
Very
awesome. It's awesome. So anyways, so we appreciate you guys. We appreciate being part of the team. Anyways, and making a little more profit for the office. Okay, let me see. Do I have my broken record today? Well, actually, when I pulled up rates yesterday, you guys, the 30-year fixed and the VA and the FHA had all ticked up 1/8 of a point. And so our market to me is still very flat. That VA jumbo, there's a lot of veterans out there. They've gone in and gotten their second careers, and they're all working for Fortune 500 companies. So if somebody says to you, well, I have VA, don't let that make you nervous. I'll be glad to share with you how VA loans work. They're awesome loans for the veteran. So now Andrew sent out a really interesting article yesterday about rates. It's a 5-minute read. I'd definitely take a peek at that if you have a minute. It just lets you know that the market is really good right now, but sometimes the rates are higher or lower because of your credit score or type of loan, that type of thing. And it's got some good information, and it does indicate that they expect loan rates will start to go up slightly. Hey, Andrew, you online for thank yous?
Andrew?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the thank yous. Laura Goolsby, we had a nice little closing yesterday, so I was really happy to help this young lady. She just got a new job here in Charleston, bought a little condo. And so thank you, Laura, so much. And thank you so much for these new loans from the Perella Group and Tina Campbell Buyers. I really appreciate, Andrew and I really appreciate those loans. And we are working a lot of pre-approvals right now. Ashley Marsh, Dominique House with 4. Fessler team, Jen Huffman, the Renee Kramer team, Simply Southern Group, the Ritter Group, Tina Hartford. So thank you guys for letting us work with your folks and getting them ready to buy a house. And then we've also been helping Alex Torregas, Donna Capps, Dominique House, Duval Acker, John Nugent, Jeannie XL, Melissa Lloyd, just reaching out to people or providing Total Expert Facebook with their new listings or flyers, things like that. So we are happy to help you guys out and appreciate you every day. Have a great day, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. And everybody, if you had not seen Andrew's article that he sent out earlier, late last night, actually, or late yesterday afternoon, check back on that. There's some good information in there. And if you have questions, of course, reach out to Andrew or Cheryline about that information. But it was a pretty good article. Thanks, Cheryline. All right, Caravan, let's hear what we've got in terms of new listings. I think we've got 5 or 6 here. This one's the Simply Southern group. We've got Rebecca Sosa and Lynn Snyder of that team. Either of you ladies here this morning? All right, they've got a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,373 square feet in West Oak Forest, listed at $275. Looks like a cute little starter house, maybe. Nice little nursery there, decorated all cute, and looks like a cool kitchen. So if you have anybody in that $275 price point, reach out to Lynn and Rebecca. Then Casey Benton, are you here with us this morning? She's got this awesome listing in Oakfields. I know she's dealing with a big repair issue. So 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2,100 square feet, nice open kitchen. Looks like it's clean and updated a bit. Nice curb appeal as well. 383 listed out in Oakfield, 1920 Mossdale Drive. Good listing, Casey. Thorne, tell us about 7.5 Bennett. You've only been working on this one half a year, I think, right? What you got for us?
It has been a little bit, but we're finally going to list either this week or very beginning of next. Pre-listing inspection's been done. All the repairs have been made, and all the pictures and aerial, all that good stuff was done yesterday. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, right downtown. If you're familiar with Cannon Park, it's right across the street and across from MUSC and Roper. 4 blocks to Colonial Lake and another couple blocks to the Battery. So great location. And if you look on the MLS, the old listing, it's 7 Bennett Street. Not sure why they did that. And I will show you the new pictures of all the updates because the sellers have put over, $50,000 into it, ripped up all the carpets, scraped the ceilings, updated the bathrooms, everything like that. So if you have an interested buyer, let me know, and we plan to list at $650.
Awesome. Thorne and Molly have been working their butts off on this, cleaning it, planting flowers, doing yard work. I mean, you have definitely earned your commission on this one already, Thorne.
Well, we got to sell it, so bring me a buyer.
Great work. Great listing. It looks good. It's paid off.
You.
All right, Melissa and Jeannie, you girls have this one, 172 Ashley Bluffs Road, and your tag team in this one. Tell us what you got for us. I know Melissa's. Oh,
Jeannie, you want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, you go, Melissa.
Okay, great. So we have 172 Ashley Bluffs. It's a community, a smaller community near the Legend Oaks area. It's zoned for Ashley Ridge High School, but this particular home is quite lovely. It backs to a nice wooded lot that cannot be built on, and in a cul-de-sac. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. It has a true guest suite. The master suite is massive. And then the other hall bath has a dual sink. So if you've got a large family moving to the Somerville area, it's listed for $345. This would be a great home for them. It also has a huge loft, probably the biggest loft I've seen in a home up there. So anyway, it's available, and they've done a great job, move-in ready, no pets. So somebody who wants a really clean, newer home, it's a great option for them.
Yeah, it looks great. What's the HOA in there?
I think it's $800 a month, and that's a pool, play park, sidewalks, and some cute little ponds around there.
Yeah, not a month, a year. Yeah.
I'm sorry, a year.
I was gonna say, well, that must be a really nice pool.
It's Wild Dunes. It's Wild Dunes.
That's awesome. Great listing, ladies. Cool to see you guys teaming up. That's exciting. Good work. All right, and I think this is our last one for this week. Duval Acker, she is not with us this morning. I believe she's had an inspection. She told me where she was, but I forget. 1733 Blaylock Street. This is the only townhome for sale right now in Hamlin. It's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, just under 1,900 square feet, and she's got it at $275. So pretty great price. She's going to do an open house there this weekend. If you want to send anybody her way, or if you want to pop in yourself and take a look, $275 Hamlin Plantation townhouse, 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. All right, so let's roll forward. And as you have questions, reach out to me through the chat box or feel free to unmute yourself. We are going to talk about something that is obviously a hot topic, especially this week. What am I talking about? Multiple offers. Yeah, multiple offers. So put some questions in the chat box. I know there's a lot of them, but hopefully I address most of them here. So the best thing you can do with multiple offers right now is to be prepared. And the question then becomes, who do we have to prepare for multiple offers? Well, there's 3 people, 3 parties that need to be prepared. It is your buyers, your sellers, and you. The most important person who probably needs to be prepared for multiple offers is who? You. So I know you guys know a lot about this, and I know that you've experienced it a lot, and some of you not so much, some of you more so than others, but it's a really good reminder, and there's a couple of things I hope you take away from this that you didn't know before that help you better your situations when you do get in multiple offers. So from a buyer perspective, what do they need to be prepared for? Number one, we've got to prepare buyers to expect to pay full price. If not full price, maybe more if they really want the house. We have to ask them, what contingencies can we remove from the contract that don't prohibit or jeopardize your position? So what might some of those contingencies be that we could remove from the contract that might increase their odds of being successful and winning the bid? How about removing due diligence on a newer home? If you don't need due diligence, remove it. It's a big risk for sellers to take a due diligence contract. And if you have maybe there's a pool in the backyard and that's a huge sticking point to your client. Okay, we'll make a separate contingency of the contract that it's contingent upon a satisfactory pool inspection. But try to minimize the unilateral right to terminate from a buyer perspective for the seller when you're in multiple offers. It doesn't necessarily prohibit their position to get approved and purchase the home. If they have concerns, be specific and address those, but don't leave it completely wide open for due diligence. Kimberly Ritter and I talked about this earlier in the week. They had issues. They weren't concerned. They weren't sure how to do it. They were already repair procedure. We thought about switching to due diligence, and the sellers absolutely wouldn't take it. So you've got to be flexible and work with the other agent. Respond and react quickly. Buyers need to be ready to move on something as soon as they see it. I was talking to one agent recently last week, and every deal that they went to go write an offer on was already gone by the time they even got there. And I know Melissa Loy has experienced that out at Seabrook as well. Taking people all the way out to Seabrook is a huge task and a huge job. And it's really frustrating for us as agents when you get out there and everything you're showing is already under contract. We can't control that from the other side. We just hope that they'll do the right thing and communicate with us ethically and quickly. But we've got to just prepare our buyers for that letdown. And I know Melissa did a great job of that, but it's still frustrating. Try not to get emotionally attached to the outcome. So you really got to tell your buyers, we might go in on this at your best potential option, and you still might not get it. I, for one, wrote an offer on an investment property, and I didn't necessarily not get emotionally attached to it. It was a townhouse in my neighborhood, and I didn't get it. I lost in multiple offers, and I was so mad for like a whole day, mostly because of the fact that I didn't know I was in multiple offers, and I wasn't given the opportunity for highest and best. I paid full price, but I probably could have gone over that had I known. So I was frustrated, especially because I thought, I live in the neighborhood. I'm a real estate agent. I can make this really easy for her. She knows me. Why? I don't understand. Why didn't she pick me? So it's really, really hard not to get emotionally attached to the outcome, but just keep reminding them of that. Keep reminding and just keep trying to keep that separation. All right, from a seller perspective, we have to prepare our clients as sellers to expect to make difficult decisions. Multiple offers aren't necessarily the sexiest thing in the world when you're a seller. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, let's price it low and create a bidding war, and then we'll get multiple offers, and we get 15 offers, and then we'll sell over list price. That's really stressful for some sellers. And some sellers don't want to tell other people that they're not going to choose them. What happens if you're a seller and you get 3 letters of why people want to live in your home, and you're selling your family home that you brought your babies to and you've lived in for 30 years? That could get really, really emotional. So I think you need to prepare sellers, if you know you're going to get in a multiple offer situation, or at least you have an inkling of getting in a multiple offer situation, that they're going to have to make some really difficult decisions in rejecting offers. The second thing is get them to understand what their must meet terms are. So if they need to be somewhere by this day and time, they need to have this certain net price. Those are usually the 2 must meet terms. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Don't worry about the repair procedure for how long, and don't worry about, whether or not they have a home warranty in there. Focus on if it meets these needs and it solves the problems you have and the goals you put in play today, then let's work with this. And don't worry about all the other stuff. And also try to tell your sellers not to get emotionally attached to the outcome. A couple different things on that, but very similar to the buyer perspective. Okay, so as agents, Jeannie, that's awesome. Just use an escalation clause to win a multiple offer. Agents want to know how to win every multiple offer situation. Yes or yes? Are you guys sleeping on me? Yes, you do. Of course you want to know. Well, I actually have no idea how to win every single multiple offer situation, but I do have some good ideas. So hopefully this helps and at least increases your odds of some of your multiple offer situations. All right, so here's some helpful strategies. Take your emotions to the curb. Easier said than done. I've had so many times this week alone, I had 4 or 5 agents call me just yesterday about multiple offer situations, and you guys are as heated and as emotional as I can anticipate your clients are. Be it because the other agent is stressing you out, you're caught up in the intensity of multiple offers and the urgency of multiple offers, or you're nervous that you're not going to do a good enough job. But we've got to kick all of that to the curb and focus on being a guide. Because if we're that heated and riled up about it, our clients are going to think that that's how they should be too. And maybe you're just giving it to me, and hopefully that's the case. But we just have to be mindful of that. So if you feel yourself getting like, oh my gosh, this is the 3rd multiple offer situation we're in and we're still not going to win, we got to kick that. We're not going to be able to focus on helping and serving the way we need to. So kick that to the curb. Know the contract. Know the contract, know the contract, know the contract. We're going to go over that in a second. 3rd, have a negotiation strategy and plan. Having your client pre-approved is probably the first part of the negotiation strategy and plan. So that came up earlier this week. Not just that, but escalation clauses. We're going to talk about that in a second. Have a certain approach of how we're going to do this and communicate that to your buyer so that they know what's going on, and then they feel more confident that they've given it their best if they do lose. All right. And then 4th, don't assume the burden to make their decisions. Their job is to make the decisions. Our job is to guide them through the process. So stay in that zone, know your role, and don't assume the burden of, oh my gosh, what do I have to tell them to do? No. You give them the information and let them decide. And that should also help take out the emotion, right? All right, so knowing the contract. I've got a question for you here in a second, but if you're representing a seller, I want you to always, 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 always try to ratify a backup offer every single time. And if you're representing the buyer, every single time you should try to be the backup offer unless your buyer's just like, I don't really care that much. So here's a true or false question. I want you to throw it in the chat box. True or false, the contract automatically extends for a certain number of days past the closing date. Is that true or is that false? The contract automatically extends for a certain number of days past the closing date. Feel free to unmute or chat box. So Tina says no, Leah says yes, Thorne says yes. What else we got? False, false, true. So we've got a good mix here. All right, so I'll say it one more time. True or false, contract automatically extends for a certain number of days past the closing date.
False.
False. You are so right. Whoever said that, was that Tommy?
Tommy.
Yes. False. It used to. It used to have an automatic number of business days that you put in the contract. Remember, it used to say Closing date on or before June 30th with an automatic extension of 10 business days, 5 business days, 3 business days. For, what did it say? Delays or defaults caused by neither party, no fault of either party, right? So it was supposed to be used for hurricanes and things outside of our control, which we often abused. But guess what? That's not in the contract anymore. It literally says closing occurs when a seller conveys property to buyer and occurs no later than 5 p.m. on or before this closing date. There is no automatic extension in the contract anymore. So what does this have to do with taking a backup offer? If you've got a ratified contract and the closing date of the contract is missed and the buyer and seller have not agreed to extend or amend the contract to come to a later closing date, you don't have a contract anymore. So why am I mentioning this? Because we recently had a situation where we had an offer in primary position. We had a backup offer. Closing date was missed on the primary. The agent reached out and said, hey, guess what? We missed our closing date. We know we're going to miss our closing date. We need to extend it by 3 days. You know what the listing agent said? Nope, we're not going to, because our backup offer, guess what? Most of the time is higher than our current offer. The sellers would rather start over to receive $10,000 more than extend this contract, even though we're only 3 days behind. And we're going to let yours go away, and we're going to let this second position one come into primary position. Crazy. So because our agent didn't understand the contract and didn't pay attention, our client lost the deal. So it's a big deal. We have to be ready for this. We have to know the contract, and we've got to be prepared. Big deal. Ouch is right. So if you've got a ratified contract and closing date is missed and the buyer and seller have not agreed to extend the closing date, you're going to have a void contract. And if there's a backup offer in play, that backup offer has a chance of coming into primary position, depending on how the backup offer has been written and depending on whether or not the seller wants to extend the primary. Do we have questions on this? Going once, going twice. All right. So the other idea with this is that you can consider using Form 391 for backups, because we've had a lot of people write backup offers this week. Form 391, I'll bring your attention to this form. You may have seen it before, you may not, but this is clauses for amendment, or it's an addendum to the contract. It has a bunch of different reasons on there why you might use it. Deed restriction, survey. There's one option on here that says that you're a licensed realtor, but that's already on the contract. So you don't necessarily need to use this often or will need to, but there is a backup clause on the second page of this addendum. It says, this contract, if accepted by all parties, will be a backup contract. It's contingent upon all presently pending contracts not being enforceable and no lawsuits resulting. If any present contract close or this contract does not become the primary pending contract by a certain day and time, then this contract will be null and void with no action required. Any backup contract shall become the primary when its earliest date of fully negotiated terms is the earliest date of all pending contracts and all previously dated contracts have become null and void, unenforceable, or released. That sentence is confusing. Basically what it says is that if you're using this backup clause addendum, as soon as that first primary offer becomes null and void, so meaning it's either fallen through or missed the closing date, then your backup offer automatically becomes the primary offer. And then the rest of the paragraph says that you're going to extend the closing date by a certain number of calendar days to the backup offer. So you'd put the number of days you need to close. So maybe 30 days, 45 days, something like that. Questions on this? This is Form 391, and this is a backup clause addendum. Allows your backup position to immediately become primary position, doesn't start any dates or deadlines until you're in primary position. Good? Thumbs up on that? All right. The only thing I don't like about that is that it doesn't address earnest money and unilaterally terminating while you're in backup position. So I suggest, and we can talk through this each time you do it, but I suggest that you do another addendum. So use the backup addendum, Form 391, then do a blank addendum 1, and put this verbiage in there. Buyer reserves the right to unilaterally terminate the contract while in backup position at any time with no penalty. Because many times you guys are in backup position, but you're still looking for another house. You're just saying, hey, if this one falls apart, let's ratify as backup. On the one I lost out on, they wouldn't even ratify me as a backup offer. I mean, I feel bad for the seller because I feel like she's getting bad guidance from her listing agent, but what can we do, right? So it's not going to work every time, but put this in there. So buyer reserves the right to unilaterally terminate the contract while in backup position at any time with no penalty. Because what's going to happen if you're in backup position, that one looks like it's going to go to closing, that's in primary position, so you're still hovering in backup. But then just like in Digit's case earlier in the week, they found something else they want to move forward on. We need to rescind the backup offer first. Because what happens if you ratify on a different home and then the primary on the other one falls apart and you automatically go into first position? Well, now you have 2 homes under contract and that's not going to work. So make sure you add this verbiage in there if you're going to ratify on a backup. There you go, Adam. What if the buyers go under contract on another property, you need to rescind the backup? Yes, absolutely. So this verbiage in there will give you that right to just eliminate any confusion that you may unilaterally terminate the contract while you're in that backup position, but you still have to go in and rescind it verbally. In writing. All right, any questions on this stuff? All right, I know we went a little dry. Contract stuff is never really fun. Just make sure on your marketing or your open house, multiple offer stuff, you're prepared, you understand the contract, and you've got a strategy. Ask questions of the listing agent, call them up, talk less, ask more. If you just ask them a question and then stop talking, you'd be amazed at how much information you gather. Remove contingencies that don't jeopardize your buyer's position. Tie in the emotions with a letter or a video from your buyer. That usually helps. Present the offer in person. Some agents prefer that. Ask the question, would you prefer if I present the offer in person? That sort of thing. Having a strategy as well in terms of an escalation clause. Many of you guys know what this is, just don't forget about it. It's a clause that you can put in the contract that automatically increases your offer by a certain amount, usually $500, over any new offer at a maximum sales price of X. And then the seller listing agent has to show proof of other offers. So it just kind of gives you a best shot. People always ask me, well, how do we know how much to put in there as that maximum amount? Well, I mean, that's got to be the number that your clients are okay with losing the property at. If it's 500,000 and they say, okay, we're going to go in at max 500 and it sells next month for 510 and they would have been upset because they would have paid 510, then 510 is the number. So that's the best way to arrive at what the max number is. Overall, guys, just be prepared, be educated, and stay in the position of the guide. Don't get caught up in the emotions. It's not our job. It's not our choices. It's not our money. It's not our investment. We're just the guide. And I know that's really, really, really hard. So let me know how I can help you on those. If you have questions, let me know. I will certainly email these slides out, Donna. Great idea. But definitely let me help you strategize multiple offers. We're not going to win all of them, but if we can put ourselves in a position of having a better opportunity, we absolutely deserve. Our buyers and sellers absolutely deserve that guidance. All right, let's wrap up here with our guess who. We've got this agent on the line still, and I'm going to ask that agent to reveal themselves. I'll run through the facts one more time. Traveled 26 countries, 43 states, lived in 8 cities and 3 countries. That's pretty darn cool. Oh, I'm going backwards. Receives residuals from TV and motion picture for works on Parks and Rec, The Office, Coneheads, NCIS, The Simpsons, and Zootopia. Jason Looney, that is a good guess. Paul Lynch, but that is wrong. Nice try, though. Scuba dived all over the world down to 130 feet with sharks. It is not Stephen Hidako, and it is not Lance. Keep it coming. Almost ran into a bull moose while hiking. Let's see what you got there. Got caught in a riptide off the coast of Margarita Island in Venezuela, but survived and was able to swim to shore. Not Adam Perella, not Justin Walkendorf. That's a good, Kimberly, you should know these things if it was Justin. I feel like you're his like next family member. Any other guesses? All right, mystery agent, unmute yourself and tell us who you are.
It's me, Elizabeth.
It's Elizabeth Murphy.
Hello.
That is very cool. Elizabeth, when you emailed me these stats, I was like, there is no way. I didn't know any of this. This is so crazy. Very, very cool. Where did you go scuba diving with sharks?
Well, many places actually, Caymans, Australia, British Virgins, they were always around. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is crazy. I'm fascinated by sharks. I'm petrified of the ocean, but I think sharks are really cool.
They're just trying to survive like we are, and they won't usually bother you unless they're great whites. But I never saw one of those, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad.
And all the residuals are from music.
Yep, I was just going to ask that.
Mostly REM and A Widespread Panic, a whole bunch of other things. So
very cool. That is so awesome. 26 countries too. That is very, very cool. Well, yeah. I think it's pretty cool that not a single person got you. So that means we need to do this stuff more often.
They won't let me turn on my camera, so I don't know how to do that.
Oh, well, good thing we know what you look like. Now we know who you are and what you look like. That is awesome. And happy birthday this month, girl.
Thank you. I
Cool.
made it. Yes.
Another year. Awesome stuff. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit about your adventures with us. That was very cool. All right, guys, stay on the line if you would like for virtual prayer room. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me about 15 minutes over schedule, but we had a lot of good content. I know contract stuff, like I said, gets a little dry and sometimes IT stuff can get boring, but we definitely need all this information. So thank you to Les for being on this morning. Thank you guys for engaging with my